Hey, Felix here, your 4x4 agent, and today I'm going to show you, after many attempts of different decals, what is the best and the easiest way to put on a decal and get the best results. So whenever you're putting on a decal, the first thing you want to do is take some sort of a glass cleaner, make sure the surface you're putting the decal on is clean and grease-free, and just wipe it down. So I'm just using invisible glass cleaner and give it a nice wipe down. What you want to do then is you want to take your whatever vinyl decal that you're applying and peel it away from the backing. And I'm going to be using a solution that came with one of my things, but basically it's nothing special. It could be as simple as just water and some soap. So all you're doing is you're making it wet and preventing it from sticking right away. So what you want to do is the sticky side, soak it in the solution. You can put some on the window as well, or wherever it is that you're applying it. And what this will allow you to do is when you put it down, it is not going to stick. It will basically just move it around and let you place it exactly where you want it. And then once you have it placed exactly where you want it, what you want to do is then take a credit card or some kind of plastic card and just squeegee it. And what you're basically doing is you're just squeegeeing out the liquid from underneath and allowing it to make more contact. But the nice thing about doing it this way is that not only are you able to place the decal and move it around until it's exactly where you want it, versus the dry method. Once you put it down, that's it, it's stuck. There's nothing you can really do. Plus, with having the solution underneath, or the liquid, you're able to basically get a bubble-free installation, because you're going to be able to squeeze out all the air pockets from there very easily. And any remaining little tiny air pockets will either go away when it dries, or if you still have some left, you can always get rid of them by poking a tiny little hole with like a needle and squeezing it out. But you're not going to have anywhere near as many air bubbles as you would if you were to do this dry. So I have now put on, or attempted to put on, to the best of my abilities, many decals, and I have not had great success. So I decided to give this wet method a try, and I put this on the other side yesterday, and it worked like gangbusters. It was super easy. I got it perfectly put on exactly where I want it, straight, and it had virtually no air bubbles or creases or anything like that. So then you take your plastic card or credit card or a squeegee. You can even do this with one of those plastic pry tools, just basically any semi-hard straight edge, and you just work it left to right, top to bottom, just a bunch of times, making sure to get all the little bubbles out. So we're almost done. I'm just going to give it one more pass through. And that is it. So the main thing now is you cannot pull off the top layer because it's still wet underneath, and the actual decal has not attached itself to the window in this case, or wherever it is that you may be putting it on. So what you got to do is you got to give it time to dry. And depending on the climate you're in and what the weather is like, I'm in Florida. It is a bit humid, but it's also pretty hot today. So I'm going to give it probably about an hour just to make sure that it has good adhesion, because if we start pulling this off too early, you're going to pull the decal right off of the surface. So it's better to give it extra time than not enough time. It also depends what kind of solution you use. So because I'm using actually like a decal installing solution, it's not exactly just soap and water. If you're using soap and water, it'll evaporate much faster, I believe. All right, so now we're just gonna let that dry and come back in about an hour and see what that looks like. So we'll be back. All right, so it's been about 2 hours actually now, and we're gonna go ahead and peel off the top layer. I'm gonna start doing this carefully, making sure that the decal itself is still, or is already attached and not peeling off, and see how it goes. So, nope, not yet. We're gonna go ahead and leave it, give it another hour or so, and come back later because it's still coming off. So that's what you want to do. You just want to kind of test a little bit in a corner and make sure that it's good before you just go and rip it off. Because had I done that right now, we would have had a problem. All right, we'll be back in about an hour. All right, so it's been another 1 or 2 hours. Sun's starting to go down, so I figured we'd try this. So what I did is, just to make it simpler, I cut the top layer here. So we're gonna do the bottom separately from the top. Started peeling it, just holding the corner down, making sure that this decal actually doesn't come off. And just go very slowly. Now, this is a multi-piece decal, so all of it is good. There's a little bubble there at the edge, so we're just going to take our plastic card and get that right out. Because it's still slightly wet underneath, it's very simple to do, and the bubble pops right out from the edge. So now we keep going. So as I approach each section, I'm going to kind of hold down the corner, make sure it doesn't pop off, and just slowly peel the top layer away. Okay, this one is actually good. I think there's a little bubble right here towards the edge, but then again, we're able to just get that right out because of the liquid underneath. And now for the bottom section. Oh, this one started to come off. Let's take our finger. Let's hold this while I peel the rest of this off. Okay, this bottom section is actually coming off quite a bit. So I'm just going to hold it in place so that it doesn't move on me. And then use the card and push it back down. The other thing to kind of keep in mind, that being that this is vinyl, if you pull on it too hard, it will stretch and deform. So you don't want to pull on it too hard. Okay, so this came out pretty good. Again, there's on the corner, there's a tiny little bubble here, but we're able to smooth that out. So looks good. So apply a little pressure. Work out a couple tiny bubbles that are right on the edge. And also some of that is still a little liquid down there, so as it evaporates, those will go away. All right, so our stripes are good. Now we're going to attempt to do the stars. Kind of get the corners started, hold down the decal, and go very slowly, at least around the edges, because that's where it has the highest likelihood of lifting. Okay, so it's holding. So now I'm going to slowly work this up, looking for any lifting or bubbles, and then I can take care of them as we go. Okay, got a little bit of lifting right here, so we're going to use the card and kind of push it a little bit, help it go back in or on. Looks like there's still a good amount of liquid here on this side. So we can still go little by little and use the card to get right to the seam and help hold it down. In all reality, what you'd probably want to do is give this more time and have it dry further. But I have a video to make. So far it's perfect. There's one tiny one here that I was able to just smooth out with my finger. All right, almost there. Just nice and slow. There's no need to rush. So far, so good. All right, now we're getting to the edge here. This where it could potentially get dicey. Go a little bit slower as I get to the edge. Almost using the plastic card to wedge in between the decal and the top layer to push it off. So the one thing I learned when you're doing these decals is you want to go slow. Going too quickly will not help. Got a little bit of lifting here right at the end, which is fine. It's lifting because there's still a little bit of liquid underneath it, which also will allow us to place it back down and get rid of any wrinkles or bubbles. And now it's off. There's a couple tiny bubbles which I feel like will go away because that's just liquid underneath it. But whatever I can push off to an edge, I will. And It's good. Make sure the edges are attached. Now that it's done, we're gonna hit it with some glass cleaner gently so that I don't move anything or stretch anything. And then I can also go back later, and once it's fully cured and dry, and give it a better wipe down. But that is it. That is done. Let's take a closer look. As you can see, there's a little bubble right there, but I'm pretty sure that's just liquid inside. So what I can do is I can take even my finger, and just kind of work it towards an edge, and as you can see, it's gone. There's one. Just push that off to the edge as well. So most of these will be just liquid underneath, and they'll go away. If it's like, something like this where you might not be able to get it to an edge, once it fully cures, those will go away. There's one. See if I can capture it on camera. I'll just push that off. See how easy it is to get them out when you're doing it this way? Again, that's because most of these aren't actually air, and it's the liquid underneath. But let's say that is an air bubble. Once this is all dry, I can take a pin, pop it, and squeeze out the air. But this is what I found to be the best way to do this. It takes a little bit more time, but you get much better results. And that is it. And that is what I found to be the best way to apply decals. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you've found better ways to do this, or if you have experience putting them down wet, dry, what you recommend. And I'll see you in the next one.